All right, y'all, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and warn you guys, this is going to be several parts, and this is also a trigger warning. So brace yourself. Once upon a time, I was a relatively new military spouse who just moved into the neighborhood on post. It's scary, right? Starting somewhere new, literally not knowing anyone in the entire state other than your spouse. So naturally, the first chance you get at possibly making a friend, you'll take it. Nope, don't say you wouldn't. We all would. Hear me out though, this is why you shouldn't always take the first one that comes along. I need to breathe a second because this story is wild and probably going to be the hardest one I've ever told. I've already heard bits and pieces about it. This is the full agenda. All right, so let's get back to it. My kids and I were spending our first day after getting settled in at the new neighborhood park. We see this little girl run past and they started talking. I reluctantly walked toward the mom, who looked like she did not want me to approach her, to be honest. As the kids started getting more comfortable, so did we. We then exchanged numbers and we said we'd meet up again. She lived in the neighborhood next to ours. Really didn't expect to hear from her again. Then one day, out of the blue, I get a phone call from her. She said she needed help. Her dog had got out and someone on post had it. And she wasn't there, so she asked me to go get the dog and put it in her house. Being the sucker that I am, I just did it. I dropped everything I was doing and I went to go do a good deed. When I went to bring the dog in, the house was trashed. Poop and pee on the floor. That's not how I keep my household, so I was appalled. But I still kept an open mind and was not going to judge her for it. I don't know the circumstances. I'm new here. After that, she asked me to keep helping her let the dog out until she got back. Well, she was gone for 4 days and never even checked on the dog or told me when she was coming back. Shitbag. Again, all strange, but I didn't want to be a shitty person. The neighbor I picked the dog up from, when it got loose, told me this family always leaves their dog outside and it's always getting out, and that this is their third dog in 2 years, and that the others were aggressive and had tried biting kids on the street. So I'm like, wow, they really should not be dog owners. So when she finally gets back into town, I nicely tell her like, hey, he has a lot of energy. You have to spend more time with him and let him out more and maybe get a fence for the dog. I wasn't trying to overstep, but I wasn't lying either. Fast forward a week and the dog is gone. She gave him away and said she didn't really want to deal with him anymore. Then about a week later, she has another dog again. The audacity. Who she left out all day long on a cord and it would just bark and try to run away. This happened 2 more times while she was at our base. Just replacing dogs one after another, which I was disgusted with. Especially since the first time I ever met her, her husband was threatening to beat the dog just because it was looking at him. What a tough guy, right? So, needless to say, there were some red flags. But lonely me really wanted a friend, especially for my daughter, and for me too. Then a couple of months later, she tells me that she needs to see me. So I go to her house and her husband is gone. He almost always was. She shows me a bunch of text messages from a girl saying she is sleeping with my friend's husband and that it's been going on all year. And he owes her $500 or she's going to his command. Now I come from a marriage that is sturdy and strong, so I was shook. Yeah, I think I'd be too. I was like jaw on the floor, wow. She goes on to tell me how he always cheats on her and how this isn't the first time she's paid his side chicks to not tell his command. She said they met when she was a young teenager who just started high school. They met and he was already in his early 20s. Pedo. We've established that the dude's a dirtbag, he likes to cheat, and he likes to prey on young girls. Back to the story. She told me how he got her smoking weed and lying to her parents and smoking cigarettes and drinking. And then they started hooking up. He started cheating and then never stopped. Even fathered another child to another woman while they were already married. And she was pregnant with their own kid. She said he doesn't take care of that child and only sends court-ordered child support and that's it. Why would you want to be with a man that doesn't even take care of one of his kids? Blows my mind. But he also doesn't even take care of his own daughter. I'm sitting here shocked and asking her if she realized he was grooming her when she was 14 and that's literally a pedophile and that he's cheating with young girls too. I called it. Like, how can she stand for this? And she's crying and just saying he never spends time with his daughter. She said he's only lived with her full time for a year out of her life. And she even lied to his command and let him live in their house on base while she and her daughter weren't living there because she needed help to raise her daughter and he wouldn't. So the whole time she's states away and he's just targeting women to sleep with. My heart is actually breaking for her that she's in this sad, abusive relationship. Yeah, he's brainwashed her. And I say, what can I do for you? How can I help you? She says I need to get a job so I can save up money to leave him and be independent on my own. I was like, you know what? You should absolutely do that. If you ever need any extra help with your daughter, just let me know. Fast forward maybe about a week. She comes back and says she's got a job. She'd only need me to watch her daughter a couple days a week for a couple of hours. She said she would pay me and everything. And I said, you know what? If it's going towards your own account and savings for you to leave, I won't charge you. She swore up and down that it was, and if she got extra money, she'd pay me. Of course she didn't. Next thing I know, she's dropping her off at like 5 a.m. 4 days a week, and she doesn't even pick her up until 4 p.m. Now, I'm not sure if you know how much childcare is, but that's a lot of money she wasn't having to pay someone. So I really try not to judge people's parenting, but it's hard when you're babysitting their kid and realize shit is just out of whack. This little girl was still drinking baby bottles, and she would refuse to eat anything but 1 can of baked beans for like a 12-hour period. I nicely tried to address it, like we need to get her eating other things, and she flipped out about it. And I said, I'm sorry, but she's in my care for up to 12 hours, and I can't sit here as a parent and watch her not eat all day. So I was a bitch for that in her eyes. While all this is going on, I start seeing her go out to eat and do stuff constantly with her husband, even though she swears they have no money and she doesn't want to be with him. And that's why I'm watching her daughter to begin with, so she can save and get away from him. But then she started acting super shady, very secretive, very irrational. One day she'd need me and want to spend all day over here, and then the next day she was completely ignoring me. Her husband started buying her shit. She started bragging to me and everyone else in her life when I know not even her family knows the real truth. She got gifts as a payment for staying with him after he cheats over and over again. I was really just over this shit by now, so I told her I wasn't going to babysit anymore and that I was sorry. She told me that it was to separate and do better for herself, but she's not, and I have my own family to worry about. So after she knows basically she can't use me anymore, we'd still let the kids play and we're cordial. Then she went out of town for a while, and family came back with her. Her daughter was begging to come see us. She refused to speak with us the whole time her family was here, not even a hi. Like, who does that? Then the day they leave, she's at our door begging to hang out. Again, at this point, I know better. But yet she really decided to surprise me once more. She sends me this video of her little daughter on her hands and knees shaking her ass to a super inappropriate song. And then again, I was like, what the? That's not okay. It wasn't just a little provocative, it was disgusting. Then all in the span of a week, they pack up and move out. And PCS, and she never says bye or anything. Refuses to let her daughter say bye to me, who is begging to because I think I'm the only one who really gave her appropriate attention. And the day she leaves, she blocked me on all social media except Snapchat. And she still watches my stories. Girl, hit that block button. So once again, this is why you don't fall for the first friend you meet. Bitches be crazy. I still worry about her daughter to this day. I wonder what's happened to her, and I hope she's safe. Guys, like I said, army wives are crazy. And if you have your own story, send me a DM on Instagram. Link is in bio, or my username is Mrs. Fry 0725. Love y'all.